Hey guys, Haddy the creator here, creating something new to share with you. First off, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who gave me a comment and gave me some kind words in my last video. That was obviously a pretty rough patch for me, and I really appreciate all your reassurance and kind words. You made going through that rough patch a little bit easier, and I really appreciate you for that. So today I'm jumping back into my normal grind, doing some Pokemon turn to monster video. In this video, it's the first time I'm collaborating with another artist on one of these. Scribble Fix hit me up and wanted to do a Pokemon turn to monsters video with me, and I thought that was a fun and awesome idea, so we jumped into it together. So we do 2 on this video and we do 2 more over on her channel, so be sure to check her channel out after. I'll put a link to her channel at the end of this video, as well as in the description down below. Right down there. It's right down there. So for this video, I was thinking of a fun, iconic duo that would be good for us both to kind of take on. I decided Plusle and Minun would be fun because they're both pretty similar, both kind of Pikachu relatives, cute little rodent guys. They are pretty cute little critters. So I thought it'd be fun to take these guys and turn them into monsters and kind of give you 2 versions of the same type of character. See what Scribble Fix does with them and see what I do with them. Scribble Fix called dibs on Plusle, so let's jump into Photoshop and see what I can do and what kind of abomination I can turn Minun into. So here we are in Photoshop, and first things first, we need to draw Minun reacting to his abomination version. So kind of running out of positions to make these little cute Pokemon scared, but this guy's got 2 arms up, kind of karate blocking. Kind of a desperate attempt to shield himself from anything that this big abomination version might throw at him. Minun is supposed to have a circular head, and for some reason I drew him with a taco shaped head. Once I spotted the taco shape, I can't unsee it. It just looks like a taco head Pokemon. Whoops. Throwing in some quick lighting and a shadow, and this little guy is done and ready to draw the fun part, the abomination version. For the abomination version, I thought it would be fun if his eyes kind of grew and expanded and kind of popped out the side of his head. They're both kind of popping out of their sockets a bit. His mouth grew some teeth, and I originally sketched in some pointy teeth, but I thought it would look better if he were more like a rodent's teeth, flat, like a big old rat, the big old 2 buck teeth. Drawing those in there. He's looking kind of alien or kind of insect-like right now. I also thought it would be cool if, as his skull expanded, he kind of grew these little nubs in the middle of his skull forehead here. Little bumps protruding out through his skin. I'm pretty happy with how the sketch of the head turned out, so I'm finalizing that with line art now, but I'm gonna do another pass on the body because I'm not too sure on how that's gonna go yet. So for his teeth, his 2 front teeth, the buck teeth that are more prominent, are gonna be flat, but the back teeth, I'm gonna put some spikes in there, kind of give him some more menacing look to him. Sharper teeth are scarier. Putting in a little detail on the eyes. The little guy's eyes are just solid black, but this guy I'm going to add a couple different shades of dark into him just to give him some more depth and some more character. Right here I'm realizing I didn't really put space in on his cheeks to put the little minus sign that's kind of iconic for Minun. So I'm adding in some cheekbones here to put those little minus signs on his cheeks. I like the direction this guy's going though. This mouth is pretty nasty. I want to get some good spit drops coming out of there. I got this one big drool coming out, but I'll add a few more when I'm doing the post work with just the white highlights. Minun's nose is just a little tiny dash, so I'm going to kind of keep that consistent between the 2. Just make a slightly bigger dash. I could have detailed out a nose. I just cut a corner and did the easy route. And then for his ears, I'm keeping the shape the same for the consistency between the 2, but I am kind of making them more scruffy, with hair kind of scruffed around a little bit. So I did another quick pass on his body, and I like this sketch a little bit better, so I'm going to go ahead and finalize this with some line art. And I know I'm not being too creative with his arms. I tend to do Pokemon's arms that have just the little nubs, which is a lot of them. They don't have fingers or anything. And I tend to kind of extrude the bone out and make it a claw. I've done that probably with 3 or 4 so far. So this one's no different. His bone extruded out and popped through his skin, and now it's kind of this claw, this little scythe thing that's coming out of his hands that he uses to maul things. And now I'm jumping into the colors. Just going to copy the colors over from the little Minun and kind of keep that consistency between the 2, and then I'll add a lot more different layers of shading and different discolorations to make a few of the elements pop. Some redness around his eyes, maybe in that vein on his forehead, make those a little bit more reddish. Add in some shading, some more mangy, darker colors and tones to his fur to make him look more monster-ish compared to the original. His ribs are kind of extruding out through his skin, and his body is kind of sucked in from underneath it. His upper body scaled up big, but his lower body didn't scale up as much, maybe just a ×2 instead of like a ×6 or 8 like the rest of his body. Throwing in some more miscellaneous shadows and highlights, just detailing out the rest of his body here. I'm going to give him a nice little highlight on his eyes to make him look more glassy. And at this point, I'm just being really loose and kind of fast and quick with the drawing. Just having fun with it. I'm not being super technical with any of the shading techniques. I'm switching over between different brushes and using the pencil tool and then using the paintbrush tool. Just kind of having fun and throwing down some colors and just kind of playing with it. It's just really an organic process at this point. Adding a little bit of a backlight, and I'm really getting pretty close to showing the final drawing.
Here is the Minun abomination.
So here is the final drawing. I'm pretty happy with it. I like how it turned out. I think it's a cool character. I've been feeling like my monsters have kind of been looking similar lately, so I was looking at some different inspirations for different areas to kind of draw from to get some different type of monstrosities. So I have been looking at pictures of insects and stuff close up. It's kind of crazy that what exists today is actually pretty terrifying, but just on the minute scale. You take that and scale it up and it's pretty horrific. So I think looking at all those kind of demonstrated through in this drawing, but it still looks like Minun, right? So let's go check out what Scribble Fix came up with.
So first of all, I just want to thank Haddy for agreeing to this collab. When I found his channel from Jazza, I was actually pretty excited because I saw that he did Pokemon drawings and stuff like that, and yeah, Pokemon is something that I really love, so I knew we were gonna sort of hit it off pretty well. So my name is Sarah and I go by the online name Scribble Fix, and I love drawing creatures of all kinds, Pokemon, dragons, monsters. That's all the kind of stuff that I love a lot. I've been wanting to do Pokemon as monsters as that sort of idea for a while now, so when he suggested that we do that for the collab, I was pretty excited to do it. So today we're doing Plusle and Minun, and I decided I wanted to do Plusle because that's just my favorite one of the pair. I feel like I like that one just a little bit more, even though I love both of them. But also messy and scruffy. But I feel like it's still close enough looking to the original design that it works pretty well. Also, I gave it a bit of a fat roll under its chin. Now that's actually a thing that rabbits actually have. It's called a dewlap, but I decided to give this guy one because it would give it, I don't know, just a little bit more detail under there and sort of give it like an ugly fat look, if that makes sense. Not cute like a rabbit. So for the hands, I decided on 2 big claws, just because I wanted to add a bit more detail there. And yeah, Plusle doesn't actually have proper hands, he sort of has little nubs, but I wanted to add a little bit more detail and make it look a bit more scary, like an actual monster. Now I went over the whole thing and gave him little bumps on his skin and little hairs everywhere, just to add a little bit more detail to his body and give the creature more of a sort of visual interest and a bit of a gross feel, because I want this creature to be kind of gross and ugly and stuff like that, which was really fun to do. So now on to the colouring. I decided I wanted more of a desaturated version of Plusle's original colours, and yeah, so for the pale parts, instead of like a warm beige, I decided to give him a bit more of like a pale skin tone look to him. I felt like that would give it a bit of a weird feel, and yeah, so I actually decided to shade that with a sort of warm greenish grey colour just to give it almost like a sick look to it, as if it's sickly and gross and diseased. So for the highlights, I went with a very pale greenish yellow color just to match that. So for the red parts, I decided on a darker red shade just to look almost as if it was covered in blood or stained with blood. I also added bright highlights on the red parts just to give it a slightly wet look. After this, I went over and I added some extra details here and there, like some green patches on its body, kind of like mold or disease, and also a few extra hair textures here and there. And yeah, overall I really like it and I think it looks really cool. I love doing this. It was super fun and I love the end result, and I just want to thank Haddy, the creator, again for agreeing to this collab. It was really fun and awesome, and I probably wouldn't have drawn something like this if it wasn't for that, so thank you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. We came up with 2 awesome renditions of this character. Plusle and Minun had never been so terrifying. I appreciate you all for checking out this video and hanging out with me today. Remember, our goals here are to collaborate, motivate, and to keep on learning. Let's keep on learning, kick comfort in the butt together. Be sure to check out Scribble Fix's channel to see the other half of this collaboration where we take 2 more Pokemon and turn them into monsters. And I will catch you on the next video. And blessings.